We're here in Washington with First Look today because there's a big hearing going on. You've probably been hearing about how the wounded from the Iraq War are being treated up at Walter Reed. Well, some of the Congress put together a panel and they went up there to question people right at Walter Reed today. And Mary's covering the hearings, watching the hearings, and give us some of the highlights that you've seen so far.
Well, I think if you look at the title of the hearings, you get a pretty good indication of what's going on up at Walter Reed today. It's called, "Is This Any Way to Treat Our Troops?" There's been a lot of coverage about the critically injured soldiers on the battlefield, but less well known is that there are over 600 soldiers in medical hold, and this hearing is talking about how they have been caught up in a bureaucracy that is going on extensively so that they can't find their way out of their treatment and into the rest of their lives.
And explain a little bit about what medical hold is, because we're all familiar with seeing these guys going through the getting the prosthetics and really first-rate care, but medical hold is what?
Well, they are being treated, so they're still injured soldiers, but they're still active duty Army. But they are not able to go back to their homes because they have to stay at Walter Reed to get their treatment. So they basically really are, I mean, some people would call it limbo. They're just sort of caught there while their extensive injuries are being dealt with, and they have surgery after surgery, but they can't retire, and they can't go back to active duty, and they can't go home, and so they're just sort of stuck at Walter Reed. One of the stars of this hearing is a guy named John Shannon. He's been there for 2.5 years at Walter Reed.
You described that was quite common, that the soldiers helped other soldiers because they weren't getting the help from a caseworker or whomever.
But at that point, I was showing a new soldier who was also a patient in ophthalmology down to the office. And it was 5 minutes before they opened, and I just needed to ask the lady if a certain neuro-ophthalmologist worked there. And she looked me up and down, in my opinion, like a piece of dirt, and said, "Come see me when we open." I won't repeat what I said to her. I cussed a blue streak.
They keep losing his file, so every time he tries to go through the process, they've lost all his paperwork and they have to start over again. So he's got two problems. He's got to have his surgeries and he's got to get through the bureaucracies. And sometimes the bureaucracy is equal to the challenges these soldiers face in their injuries.